GMC, and we are out of the gate for September with a very special GMC sales offer. We must move out all new GMC truck inventory fast. So right now at Koppel, we are offering true GM supplier pricing for everyone. Yes, you heard right. True GM supplier pricing on all GMC Sierras. That's over $12,000 off on select models. That's GM supplier pricing, $12,000 off on Sierras. Do not wait. Stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome into a Monday show here on The Block. If you look to my right on stream, you will not see Eric Strickland. You'll see Nick Sainer. Nick, welcome in, my friend.
Austin, hello. Shout out to Strick. He texted me yesterday morning, said, hey, would you mind being able to fill in for me tomorrow? And I said, absolutely. I'd love to hang out with Austin, talk a little football. I'm sure there's going to be some other sports conversations in here as well. I'm excited to spend the afternoon, though, with you.
How was your weekend? I saw you were out on the links. Out in beautiful Cairo, Nebraska.
Yes, Cairo, not Cairo. Cairo, Nebraska. Spent some time at Wild Horse out in Gothenburg as well. Then, Cairo, Nebraska with Centura Hills. Spent the evening on Saturday night in Kearney, Nebraska. Was unable to go to my favorite restaurant because of homecoming.
Boo.
There was high school homecomings going on, so too many reservations. We weren't able to go to I wasn't able to show my friends my favorite dinner spot in Kearney, so therefore we had to go to somewhere else. Still delicious. It was a good weekend, but now I'm ready to get back. Like it was nice to have Saturday and Sunday designated for football. And for us in our spot to be able to watch some other games that we don't always get to watch in some certain time slots. But this weekend's going to be a good one, too.
This weekend was weird for me just as a sports fan. Don't worry. We'll get into the Huskers here, people. Don't worry. Husker lost on Friday, right? But as bad as the game ended for the Huskers, I got to go with my wife for 3 quarters. It's been a while since we were able to get out. So mom and dad got to get out for a little bit, watch the game, which was fun. Then having Saturday off was weird. Right, just a day at home, running some errands, and then went to a wedding that night, which was a fantastic time. And then just yesterday, kid had his 1-year-old pictures taken.
Whoa! So
that was a big deal, big milestone. Got to go to church with them and everything. Met some awesome ticket fans at the wedding too. So I want to shout out to Jim Blue, CEO of Cedars.
Absolutely,
was at the wedding. Shook hands with Mr. Blue. Caught up with him a little bit. Tina Rohde, her daughter, got married. And big shout out Zach Pauley. Zach, I didn't know you going in, but he's a breaker. He's on there every morning on his way to work, listening to this truck.
You know him post-wedding, though.
I know him post-wedding.
Perfect.
Now. So, Zach, if you're listening, Appreciate you, man. Great to catch up with you and meet you officially. So tickets everywhere.
Yeah, it was a good time. I went to lunch today actually with a friend, and we were talking behind him. It was actually a state trooper was in front of us in the line, and he turned around and goes, "I listen to you guys all the time." He said, I love the shows from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. A state trooper. So shout out to the state troopers that were in the Panda Express line this morning. Around 11 o'clock or so. It's great to talk to them as well. Appreciate their service. But no, yeah, tickets everywhere, man. And football season, it certainly doesn't slow down.
Any broccoli and beef left for Jay at 11 this morning?
I don't know. Jay was not there. So it was not with Jay.
There you go.
So just myself and my orange chicken.
There you go. Eric, yes, you're welcome. We brought Nick back onto the airwaves. I know you love that. And Thunder Nut Collins says, no wonder Nick wasn't hiding back in his cubicle when I walked in. No, Nick was show prepping up front with us.
I was in the production studio with you guys listening to Matt Rule and talking about, a lot of Husker football talking points, I think, because there's a lot of ways that we can go. There's a lot of views that we're talking points that we can go down, avenues, if you will, throughout the course of the next couple of hours. And I'll ask you this before we get into Nebraska football. You're wearing an Indianapolis Colts shirt today. The Colts beat the Bears yesterday. However, it was not good. It was tough to watch. And Anthony Richardson is struggling. This is a guy they took in the top 5 picks of last year's draft, or 2 years ago now, excuse me. But here they are. They won a game under their second-year head coach.
Yes,
second-year head coach. And granted, it was against the Bears. Caleb Williams hasn't looked exceptional by any means, but Anthony Richardson made some questionable decisions.
As he has done the first 3 weeks of the year. And granted, it's essentially his 7th NFL game.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm wearing the Colts gear today. I just out of some sense of obligation, because Nick, I am not happy that the Colts won, because let me flash back to 2 weeks ago. The Colts lose.
Yes.
Royals have a good weekend. Huskers win. Let me take it back to last weekend. Royals make it out of the weekend with a winning record. Husker football wins, and the Colts lose. I love the Colts. I'm here with them, and I'll get to them in just a sec. But of the teams I root for, the Colts need me the least right now.
So there is some thought in your mind that when the Colts win, your other programs or organizations lose, and vice versa.
I'm just saying right now that's the trend. It's been 3 weeks is all. And I'm not so superstitious that the Colts had to lose or everyone else had to win for the Colts to lose. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad to see Anthony Richardson get a win. Harrison Arns texted me as a Bears fan and said, hey, congratulations. And I just said, thanks. I guess my team was slightly less trash for 60 minutes than yours, which is kind of how the game went. But Husker football, has its momentum. I don't want to say slowed to a halt, and we'll get into that. Royals already screeching halt right now. They might actually be dead. Someone's got to bust out the defibrillators. Yeah. And I blame Jake Sorensen for not having done that over the weekend. I'm not going to put it on Jake's kid or his wife. This falls completely on the shoulders of Jake Sorensen.
This is not beautiful Scotland's fault.
No.
This is a Jake Sorensen issue.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they got the Nats though coming up.
They do. Who? CJ Abrams. that's another full segment.
There's so many things we can talk about.
But the Colts, Anthony Richardson has looked rough.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old. He's the youngest starting quarterback in the NFL. The combined ages of the starting quarterbacks in Colts Bears was less than the combined starting ages of the quarterbacks in Utah, Oklahoma State.
Oh, wow.
Think about that.
Yeah. Alan Bowman. Yeah. Alan Bowman is pretty old as well. Right. He's this generation's Brandon Weeden.
Oh, absolutely. He is.
Yeah.
Same school and everything.
Yeah.
No, the Colts haven't looked good. I am not nearly as optimistic now as I was. It's good to see Jonathan Taylor back on track.
Very much
so. But this is just the thing with young quarterbacks. And I think as a Husker fan, I'm kind of spoiled seeing Dylan Raiola make advanced decisions his first year in college.
Okay.
Is that, yes, it's college. It's maybe a step and a half slower, especially the competition Nebraska's played, than in the NFL. But Richardson doesn't have that much starting experience. He wasn't a 3 or 4 year starter at Florida. He's really growing into the job as starting quarterback. I saw a tweet that I think said it perfectly. Anthony Richardson can make throws that 99% of NFL quarterbacks can't make, but he will follow that up by missing a throw that 99% of NFL quarterbacks can make.
Yeah.
And I hope that's not just part of the deal with a young starting quarterback, but I am fully buckled in for the ride.
How much did you read into Michael Pittman had 4 catches yesterday? I think it was less than 40 yards though. Which is not necessarily a recipe for success. When Michael Pittman can be a wide receiver one, he's shown that in his time. I think what wasn't it? The leading receiver was Alec Pierce on one catch. Did I read that correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was one catch for like 45 yards or something like that. Anthony Richardson, I'm looking it up, finished 10 of 20 through the air, 167 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Both were bad. The one near the goal line.
One near the goal line was the one that I was really bad.
I have ever seen. I don't get it.
Yeah. So I just needed a welfare check on you specifically, just because despite the Colts winning a game, it did not look great. And so nonetheless, they were able to do so. Anyway, so once again, Indianapolis wins. Detroit is 2-1 as well. A couple of other NFL stories
they ran in the open field.
That
part was pretty sick.
That part. But then also Green Bay Packers, if we want to stay in the Bears Lions division, the Green Bay Packers with Malik Willis, they have grown his potential trade value when that time is to come, when Jordan Love comes back, because you've paid Jordan Love, obviously, that the Packers are 3-0. And as Malik Willis beats his former team led by Will Levis, who looks maybe just as bad as Anthony Richardson,
but has had more chances to work it out. So I think Will Levis is still worse than Anthony Richardson.
You're right. I would agree. So yeah, so Anthony Richardson's fine. I just wondered where your meter was on Anthony Richardson, on if you're ready to kind of move on, or if you're saying he's only had 7 opportunities. Give him some moments.
I will lock in more on Anthony Richardson after I know the Royals are in the playoffs and the Huskers have qualified for a bowl game. How about that?
That works for me. Let's talk Huskers.
Here's the biggest question that I have right now. There's plenty of little avenues we can spin off to this. Text line, appreciate your involvement. We will keep getting to you here. And here's just the big question right now. Does Friday's loss still hurt as bad as it did on Friday? Are there any aspects of it that you're like, okay, maybe it wasn't so bad? Are there any aspects that you think, yeah, this is a cause for concern, this is worrying, Illinois finally exposed something?
Yeah.
What are those for you, Nick?
I don't know if I'm trying to be careful with not like compartmentalizing it too much, and also not having it looked bad, but don't worry. Yeah. Because I think it's important that this is used as a reality check and a wake-up call. I think it was important that even on a day where Dylan Raiola, and Matt Rule said it today, played okay, he played fine, he played good, that there were still some things that he needed to correct. We saw maybe a freshman, and this is off of an offensive line that struggled in overtime, certainly, but in overtime, instead of drifting, and I'm going to say drifting because it was like slow motion, just got worse and worse and worse in overtime on that snap, as he like drifts back towards the logo, understanding I just need to get rid of this. Yeah. I need to make it or even go down. Like, because at that moment, 2nd and 15 is better than whatever they had with the intentional grounding call. So like that little piece of just growth and learning, that hopefully now that he's experienced it, we don't have to go through that conversation again. I think that's the next thing for me as somebody that watches Husker football, and maybe the fans can say this as well, is if Nebraska finds themselves in a similar type of game on Saturday or next Friday or next Saturday against Rutgers, how does Nebraska respond? Are we still saying the same things about the offensive line, about Dylan Raiola, about X and Y and Z, or are we seeing a little bit of growth? Because I think if you see growth, then that means we can get rid of it's the same as it always has been kind of type of feeling.
Did you think Nebraska tightened up late in the game?
I didn't think Nebraska tightened up late. I thought that they looked hesitant from the start.
Especially on defense.
Especially on defense. I thought the tackling was as maybe bad as we've seen it under Matt Rule. Other than Michigan last year, but Michigan, I'm chalking that more up to the supreme athletes that they had.
Yeah.
I thought the tackling was as bad as maybe we've seen it under Tony White.
Matt Rule says the team felt a little bit tight. He talked about that in his press conference today. Thanks to Huskers.com for the audio here. Here's what Matt Rule had to say, about the team still getting tight in tight games.
It's like kind of everything else in the game. It's just all just a little, it's not terrible. It's just all kind of like this. And you get in these Big Ten games, again, I told our guys it's like our narrative as a team has to be like just completely focused on this week, because you start thinking about all these other things, you have a game like this. And Illinois, I mean, you could feel Illinois' passion for that game. They've been waiting for that game for a long time, since we went there last year. And I thought our guys played hard. I have no issue with that stuff. It's just a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes, and I put that on me. That's not, some coaches come and say, "Oh, it's on me." No, when that happens, I'm always like, this is typically things that happen in year two. You have a couple games, and all of a sudden you have this game, you come back down, and you're like, all right, then teach the guys like, hey, you have to attack every game the same way in terms of your energy and effort, and stay locked into the game. And then I have to find a way to get our team to, when the game gets tight, not get tight, but enjoy the battle and enjoy the competition. And I just felt really tight out there, in the second half. Except for some guys, Dylan doesn't feel tight. He's out there running around, let's go play. Some of the young guys don't, but I think some of the older guys are, kind of like this, and they start doing uncharacteristic things, as opposed to, I got Sam man, I'm just going to play him man. So I say that to say we have a good team. They have to just play well. And that sounds so simple, yet that's kind of where we are.
Matt Rule felt tightness outside of Dylan Raiola. And that's not to say Dylan was too loose, right? I think this was oh crap, Aaron Henry dialed up pressure.
Yeah.
Offensive line allowed, direct access right up the middle there. Someone miscommunicated, someone miscounted guys in the box, whatever it was. It's a learning moment for Dylan Raiola, right? The interception to Isaiah Nair. Nair took the blame in the postgame. Said, Dylan, trust me to go up and get that ball. I got to fight harder for it. That's what it was. But Nick, I'm with you that the offense didn't feel tight. It just felt like Illinois maybe a little bit better schematically. The defense was out-schemed. Barry Lunny did a fantastic job with his game plan. And I don't know if the defense got tight as much as the defense had no idea who it was supposed to guard or what its assignment was, especially in the last 20 minutes of that game.
Huskers P on the text line says, you guys go to Dylan. How about the inability to make defensive adjustments? That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to view and have the conversation around Dylan Raiola because he is the quarterback, right? And there's so much conversation around him.
But he only scored 7 points in the second half and overtime combined. So it's an offense and a defense.
And now it's becoming a pattern because the inability to grow on a productive first half has been a thing the last couple of weeks for Nebraska football. So that's why I think it's okay to reference the offense in these conversations as well. Now, there was a couple of things in that comment from Matt Rule, and maybe we can just piece it together as we go. Austin, there was a point there in Matt Rule's comment as I was listening to the presser live that he said Illinois wanted to win that game. You could feel the passion. You're playing a night game in Memorial Stadium, and you have a chance to go 4-0 and knock off a fellow top 25 ranked team.
Reach the top 20.
Why is there even a question on if you have passion or if you are even wanting to be there or ready to go? I think that is maybe what stuck out to me more. And that's saying a lot over the piece of him going, yeah, there's a lot of young guys here that don't get tight and are ready to go. But man, those older guys, somewhat of the ones that predate Matt Rule's arrival. That's what I kind of gathered from that comment. So those were the two alarming things that I kind of stood out to me in that comment was, number one, why are we even referencing the passion that Illinois had? Because the comment coming out of the game should be, yeah, you know what, Nebraska, they wanted it from the get-go. That should be Brett Bielema saying that, in my opinion. And the number two is, what did he mean? Maybe it just takes a longer explanation from Matt Rule for him to really explain it. But what did he mean by the younger guys don't get tight? And those younger guys I view as like Ja'Cory Barney and Dylan Raiola and
Sierra Wright, too.
Sierra Wright, who's a newer guy. Cameron Lenhart, who has been somewhat MIA this year. But then the older guys, because most of the time on a program, it should be the other way around. And I think we would take less alarm bells going off in our minds if that's what he would have said. If he would have said, yeah, the older guys looked pretty good, it's just the younger guys adjusting to that college speed. But no, it was the other way around, which kind of sent some bells off for me.
And what Husker fans don't want to hear is wait till next year.
Bingo. And that's kind of what it felt like.
The direction the quote is pointing.
Yes.
Which we've heard it multiple times this year, right? The offense has to raise its standard to Dylan Raiola's level, right? Dylan's at the standard. Everyone else has to catch up to him.
Yeah.
Credit to him. Credit to the young guys. I don't think we're going to say that the older guys are any less talented or they don't have enough talent to make it work. They do. Makes me wonder just how deep those mental scars are, and especially on defense, which is where I think we can start this conversation and then move to the offense a little bit next segment. Nick, if a defense that's as veteran and as experienced as the unit Nebraska has is playing on its heels, is playing a step and a half slow, is playing hesitant, at that point, it's on Tony White to switch up the energy. He is down there on the field. It's not just in Marquise Buford, waved away Matt Rule. Hey, coach, we got this. At this point, and you're Tony White, run a blitz, right? Get your guys moving. The way you're going to be hesitant is by saying, yep, we're relying on our front three, our front four to get pressure. The rest of you sit back in the zone and read it. If your guys are flat, if your guys are dead, defense is aggression. Defense is full speed ahead. Get them doing something aggressive to try to shake them out of that little bit of the stupor they seemed like. And sure, maybe Illinois, read the situation perfectly. Wallen and Williams in the game, we're going to run the ball. Lenhart, Robinson, Hutmacher in the game, we're going to pass the ball because Nebraska doesn't have its pass rush guys in there. So, of course, you have to credit Illinois here. But, Nick, outside of UTEP, when Nebraska has the safety that turned the tide, Colorado maybe in the first, maybe the pick six, right, with Tommy Hill. Of course, yeah. And then the defense found a way to get a stop against Northern Iowa. The defense never had that moment that changed the game. Illinois moved the ball relatively consistently all game because I think Nebraska allowed Illinois and especially Luke Altmaier to get comfortable.
Yeah, I would also add, this is something I told you on Friday night, right before the post-game show, was that despite Nebraska playing in front, it never felt like Nebraska had its control on the game. And maybe that's credit to Illinois, but you look at the on paper, and what did we talk about coming into the game? Now, certainly like the tackling piece of it, I referenced multiple times that don't allow Luke Altmaier to beat you on simple play action plays. That did not happen. But then ultimately, like the tackling, sure, but we always talked turnover battle, and we talked just being able to apply pressure to Luke Altmaier. They won the turnover battle. Nebraska won the turnover battle, and they forced a fumble. Now this is to the defense's credit. When the offense sputtered in the second half, the defense, and once again, John Bullock, who has probably been the best and most consistent player on Nebraska's defense this year.
Sure.
At least most talked about. I think maybe we noticed him the most out of that linebacker position, which, by the way, was one of the uncertainties I think coming in was that linebacker position, because you needed guys like MJ Sherman to step up. You have the injury to Javen Wright, who's kind of that hybrid guy. You needed a jump up from like a Princewell, a jump up from Jamari Butler, who's been limited.
Full-time starter.
Mackay, yes. Because you graduated the Reimers and the Giffords, or excuse me, Heinrich or Reimer and Henrich.
Yep.
You graduated those guys, so now it's okay. Who's going to take over the reins? John Bullock's done that.
Yes.
When your defense needed to get a stop, not only did they get the stop, but they forced the fumble on the strip sack, right? And Nebraska was there to fall on it. You won the turnover battle, and that's where it maybe goes into our next segment conversation about the offense. But you're right, Austin. Like we're sitting here going into week 5, and Nebraska's at a 3-1 record, going and feeling like, has there been consistent pressure on the quarterback? What should Nebraska fans expect from the Nash Hutmakers and the Ty Robinsons going forward? Because I understand your point and where you're coming from with Tony White, but at some point, dude's got to tackle.
Yes.
And at some point, the guys that are on the field, your experienced players, and to use the Matt Rule analogy, they can't get tight.
No.
They can't, because Illinois hurt Nebraska, I felt like, the most on the ground runs or yards after contact.
For the second week in a row.
And that's how I felt like that's where Illinois did a lot of their damage, was the yards after contact.
Well, and it's all very concerning because it's happening in the second half. If you hear Matt Rule talk, he wants to dominate the fourth quarter, 75 plus rushing yards, fourth quarter shutout, be the stronger, more physical team. And this is where I think we go to break. We move this conversation over to the offense. That's not necessarily the way the offensive coordinator is playing, right? Especially with that group. I'll say this to end out. The defense didn't play well, especially not up to, I would say, the standard that group has said it's set for itself.
Yeah.
And yet it could have been enough to win the game.
Okay.
Despite not playing well enough. The defense did enough in regulation held on for dear life long enough to give the offense a chance to win the game. Let's go to break. Let's talk about the offense, especially a couple decisions on some key third downs. We want your thoughts as well. 402-464-5685. That's the number to our starter Heyman Jewelers text line. I do also want to let you know that On the Block is sponsored by Nebco. They're hiring general laborers for constructors, all positions, immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Laborers' wages start at $23 and up based on experience. Visit Nebco Inc. or ConstructorsLincoln.com to learn more. He's Nick. I'm Austin. More On the Block right after this. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers or by phone at 402-858-9356.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Riddles Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddles Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddles Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest, and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddles Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddles Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddles inside Gateway Mall.
Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Get closer to the magic than ever before. Play along with the Toy Story gang. Explore the colorful world of Coco. Sail away with Moana. Soar to new heights with Belle. And journey to Arendelle to thaw a frozen heart. It's an all-out celebration at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing Pinnacle Bank Arena this Friday through Sunday. Visit DisneyOnIce.com for show details and get your tickets today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Strick out today. He will be remote tomorrow and Wednesday. Got Nick Stainert filling in alongside myself, Austin Norman. We're turning the page with the Huskers to the offense, and plenty of room to discuss special teams as well. So don't worry, we will certainly get to that. But on the offense, Nick, a play that you and I spent some time talking about in post game was the decision from Marcus Satterfield to throw it on 3rd and 3 when Nebraska had run the ball to pretty decent effect near the end of the game. John Hull ends up missing the 39-40-yard field goal. Illinois takes over. Game goes to overtime, and the rest is history from there. The reason that I asked the question, what do you feel, just as bad about from Friday night? What do you maybe feel better about? Is this play from Marcus Satterfield? And I think the way that not just you specifically, but you generally, Husker fans out there as well, the way you view that play call and that decision tells me a lot about how you view process versus results. Mm-hmm. Because in a results-based mindset, in a results-based game like college football, it didn't work. It was a bad call. You're running the ball with Dante Dowdell. All you need is 3 yards. You're still probably on the edge of the range that you feel comfortable with for a kicker in his first real moment at Nebraska in John Hull. 39-40 yards should not be a big ask for a college kicker. But Matt Rule, Ed Foley, Marcus Satterfield need to know it is a big moment for Nebraska kickers right now. They haven't stood up underneath the pressure of that moment and come through it. If you're process-oriented, you're going to say, and I think Mitch Sherman said this pretty well on Twitter. He said, credit Satterfield with a great call to deceive Illinois on 3rd and 3. Raiola just missed the throw. But if you're going to take all your playmakers except the quarterback off the field, need to commit to it before the play to give them a shot on 4th down, especially without a reliable kicker. Someone said it's the biggest 3rd down of the game. Who are the 4 players running a route? Lindenmeyer, Borkacher, Fedoni was actually Barrett Liebentritt at fullback, and then Alex Bullock. That's coaching malpractice. Mitch said, or is it a well-conceived disguise that almost turned into the perfect call? No one on Illinois expected that pass. If Raiola completes it to any of them, it won the game. We'd be talking about it in the guts for a long time. Mitch says something that I'll echo too. I'm not saying it's the right call to take your primary pass catchers off the field for what was a massive play, especially if you're committed to kicking on 4th and 3. But you can't be overly predictable with your personnel. And why are these guys suited up if you don't trust them in a big moment? The process behind the play call, we're talking about it because it didn't work. We'd be talking about it completely differently if it did. And that's the fine line in coaching. At this point, this is where, you said with the tackling, at some point, it's not on Tony White to call the right defense exactly every time. It's on the players to make plays. This is where we're seeing Dylan Raiola is not the perfect quarterback. He underthrew Jalen Lloyd for his first interception.
Yeah.
Isaiah Nayor had a bigger height advantage than Dylan Raiola threw that ball up for. Illinois' DB came down with it. Just overshot Fedoni for a touchdown. Just overshot Lindenmeyer.
Yeah.
Maybe Dylan Raiola just needs more reps and needs to learn his personnel better. Maybe it's on the other guys, right? They got to be one step quicker. They got to lift a little bit more so they can run one step faster in pads. It looks bad on Marcus Satterfield because it didn't work. I am in the camp, though, that as much as I probably would have preferred to run the ball, make it 4-down territory, try to run that clock down and get either a closer field goal or, ice the game at the buzzer with it, I don't hate the play call because it was there. I'm putting this one on players got to execute.
I'm not, and now I think I can put a lot of this Friday night game on players just have to execute better, right? This, however, it magnifies the issue and the problem that Nebraska has at special teams, which we can table for another moment here. But to your point, Austin, what you just said, so that I have that drive pulled up. Nebraska started the possession on their own 38-yard line. This is after that fumble, right? When we just talked about that, the defense stepped up right when you needed it to, right? And if this would have, frankly, I guess if this would have resulted in points, we would talk about this as a trickle-down effect of, all right, well, how did that possession offensively for Nebraska, how did that begin? Oh, it was by a net positive possession defensively by Nebraska. They forced a turnover when they needed it most in the final 10 minutes. I think it was like the 8:49 or 8:30 mark. Yeah, 8:27 left in the fourth quarter. That's when Luke Altmaier fumbled the football. Back to the offense specifically. You started out and you run the ball on your first two plays. You get 6 yards on those 2 plays. 3rd and 4, guess what? Then they give it to Ja'Cory Barney Jr., gets 5 yards out of bounds, first down. Then another pass, short, quick, caught by Jamal Banks, who, by the way, Jamal Banks, for all the people that said, where's Jamal Banks at? There you go.
What a game.
There is a moment where they're going to need Jamal Banks this year, and we saw it multiple times on Friday night, that he might not be the deep threat. He might not be the most explosive player offensively, but when you need something, sure-handed Jamal Banks is going to be there because he caught 8 of 9 passes that Dylan Raiola threw his way on Friday, and that was there in some big moments too. We saw it earlier this year with that touchdown catch as well in the end zone. So you have Jamal Banks, and then guess what? Then 3 straight running plays that got you 14 yards in 3 plays.
So you're right about 5 yards per carry, which is really good against a Big Ten defense.
Which, by the way, is what Dante Dowdell on the entire season is averaging per carry, which I want to get to Austin, get Austin's thought on it as well in a few moments. So you get 14 yards in the next 3 plays. You guess what? You get another one to Jamal Banks for 9 yards, then an incomplete pass to Luke Lindenmeyer in the end zone. I don't hate the play call. It's the execution piece. But one is it highlights and it magnifies how bad Nebraska's special teams, more specifically place kicking is right now, field goal kicking is. Second off is you throw that type of pass on 3rd and 3 when you kind of have an idea that we're going to still go for it on 4th down.
We trust our line to get us 3 yards. We trust our quarterback to make a quick pass, something.
That's what I was more surprised about. Also, you could frame it that way, but then also from the 21-yard line, when your offense to that point had been pretty stagnant in the second half, struggled, only 7 points in the second half. That's one of those that, man, you want to talk about being able to really take control of the game in a game that we just said last segment, even though Nebraska maybe on the scoreboard was out in front of, never really felt like they had control. It felt like they were still playing from behind at times. On the 3rd and 3 opportunity, I would have been okay with them running the ball with Dowdell. Or if you want to get Lindenmeyer or Liebentritt involved, get it in some unique way with a fullback run. Whatever you want to do, an easy play action, a boot, get Dylan Raiola moving, something, a high percentage opportunity, And if it doesn't work, guess what? You're still in fourth and manageable to where you still have an opportunity to take control of the game. Because one, you have it to where if it's a touchdown to Lindenmeyer, Nebraska's in control.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably feel like Nebraska wins that game. Number two, if it's not, and you end up, if it's even just if you make the field goal, can we ask ourselves, would it feel like Nebraska was truly in control at that point?
I told you when Nebraska got that fumble, you got to get 7 here. If you get a field goal, do you really have confidence in the defense the way it was playing that night, getting a stop?
Yes, in totality.
With Illinois' kickers' range that they've shown already this year, you take your chances because you like having a lead late in the fourth, but you don't feel comfortable.
As much as we talked about what the defense did for the offense last year in keeping games close, it's now at a time where Nebraska with a quarterback that can actually deliver the ball at a higher completion percentage than maybe Nebraska fans have seen in the recent years. It's time for the offense to sit here and go, okay, now let's help you guys out a little bit. Mm-hmm. On a night where Nebraska's defense was not the strongest. Mm-hmm. And that's where, once again, from the text line's reaction and thoughts, which has been great so far. So shout out to you guys listening. It's been the defensive adjustments, the lack of a defensive adjustment. The offense has been fine. That's what it feels like the listeners are saying. Am I gauging that correctly, Austin?
That's my get as well.
So to that thought process, the defense finally comes up with a turnover, the second one of the day, in the final 8.5 minutes of game time. Your offense, to a certain extent, was doing their job. It was doing their job at moving the football down the field at a really nice split of run and pass.
And taking some time off the clock.
And taking some time while you do it. But then on what I mean, even the second down play call, you could go back and question a little bit. But the third down play call, it's almost the lack of forward thinking. It would be great because you wouldn't have to worry about the forward thinking if it worked out and Nebraska scores a touchdown. But it did not. And so now we are able to dissect it. And I'm not saying you need to operate with the concern of, man, what if this doesn't work? Mm-hmm. But also operate with the understanding of this is how it's felt all night and what's most important right now. Did you really? And they kept saying on the broadcast, backup kicker filling in. It could have been Tristan Alvano out there.
And nothing changes for how I feel.
Nothing changes for how I specifically feel, or now you either feel.
Not a thing.
Because Tristan Alvano at one point, he's making less than 50% of his field goals in Memorial Stadium, at his home stadium. So whatever the issue is, that's why I say now, as we digest it today on a Monday, it magnifies how bad the special teams is.
Let's lead off the 3 o'clock hour with that. The lack of forethought is an interesting point as well, because Nick, you think about if you're going to kick the field goal on 4th and 3, why is that the play call? We know Marcus Satterfield likes to take shots on second and short, right? He's done that from midfield.
And I'm all for
it
when it feels correct.
When you have another down to use as well. If you plan to use another down, but they didn't do that. And you add that on top of, why are you challenging a guy stepping out of bounds 8 yards before he did when it's still first and goal to go? You blow a timeout. Does that change the field goal going in or not? Probably not. But if you have an extra timeout, it might change how you approach the last 4-minute drill, or if you turn it over and you need it for defense. So coaching is still a question mark for me. And this is a game management situation. I don't think they've, provided a lot of confidence in that realm through 4 games yet this year.
I was really disappointed. I mean, this is, we're going to lead off the 3 o'clock hour, like you said, with special teams, because I think there's a lot to that. There's been one consistent piece of special teams, and it's a piece. It's not resulting out, maybe consistent in just being, it's just been there. It's been present.
It's been not bad.
Like none of the special teams has been a positive. It's just, is it not a negative?
Right.
And it's kind of been interesting.
That'll be the 3 o'clock hour. You also brought something up that I think is worth touching on. Illinois had 3 touchdowns come off of completely busted coverages. Illinois had guys wide open. Is that a function of Illinois' playbook? Is that a function of Nebraska's defense? I want your thoughts, Nick, and yours on the text line as well to wrap up hour 1. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116. NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basements? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are. Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxing on Saturday, October 5th with Roughnecks at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 8 bouts are scheduled for the night, including the main event of Dwayne Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks in the professional middleweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I was noticing on your website you have more than 150 new 2024 and 2025 Hondas in stock right now.
Yes, we do, Charlie. It's neat when you drive by and see all the cars on our lot, and we have most all models and all different colors available. and we even have more than hundreds on the way. We also have the all-new, all-electric 2024 Honda Prologue in stock right now. We have a few of them to choose from. Plus, qualified buyers get financing from just 1.9% APR.
How about your pre-owned selection?
I talk to a lot of my customers and friends, and they still think that we just sell brand new Honda, but we sell all different models, make of pre-owned cars, and we have more than 100 to choose from right now.
Well, maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's your radon level at home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. 467-1111 for radon testing and mitigation.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lots more Husker football to get to all show long. About half an hour or so, we will talk about the commitment of Dayton Raiola to the Huskers with Brian Munson of Husker Online. But before we get to that, Thunder Knock Collins is on one. No, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not a boxer. Good try, though, my friend.
But go see them at the complex.
Absolutely.
Go
October
see,
5th.
the October 5th.
Maybe it is Dwayne Johnson. We'll see. Got to show up to see. Husker football in the red zone. Nick.
Yeah.
Scored on all their trips down there, to be fair, right? 4 for 4 in the red zone. Settling for field goals in the red zone is very Big Ten West. But you look at the difference in play calling between what Nebraska did inside the 20s and what Illinois did inside the 20s. Wide open offensive lineman touchdown for Illinois. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Creative use of personnel that worked out. Tight end wide open for a touchdown. Pat Bryant wide open for a touchdown. It's a slog when Nebraska gets in the red zone. And I think I mentioned this on post game. I don't know if Nebraska doesn't trust its offensive line to push straight ahead. Yeah. I don't think it's the most powerful line, but you think that's a basic, simple thing that Nebraska could do for 5 yards. And I don't even mind Marcus Satterfield throwing it inside the 10 especially. But who are you throwing it to, right? Illinois found a way to get its best receiver in Pat Bryant the ball. It got a tight end wide open. And then a little bit of I don't even call it a trick play, creative play that Illinois has put on film before. How is it that other teams against Nebraska get guys wide open in the passing game in the red zone?
Yeah.
And for most of the last 15 years of my Husker football watching existence, Nebraska doesn't have that. Is it personnel? Is it playbook? Is it play calling? I just don't know at this point.
Well, I think there's a couple of things here. It'd be interesting. I just realized that I want to do this little homework assignment for myself. I want to go back throughout this season and go, okay, inside the 10-yard line, what's Nebraska's play call? Watch every single snap, because I genuinely, I'm sure that there's more, just being just a football observer, I'm sure there's more runs than passes, but I also don't know how drastic of a difference there is right now for Nebraska football, because I go to Friday night's game on the first drive, the first in Nebraska's drive after Illinois scored a touchdown that they had to settle for a field goal. They got to the 5-yard line by running the ball, and then they threw the ball. And so to then have, in response to your personnel comment, let's look at the play call on 3rd and 3 that we just discussed last segment. I am all for catching the defense off. I am all for it. And you have to. It's the same kind of thing that we discussed about. You can't always have Ramir Johnson in there when you're only going to pass because he's your best pass blocker. You have to give him
Johnson for pass blocking.
Yes, no, like you have to be able to
be multiple,
diverse in that area. However, with that is, why do we rarely, I shouldn't say ever, why do we rarely see that combination of Liebentritt and Lindenmeyer and the other guys? Why don't we see them at the 5? where you feel really good about their ability to block, maybe more so than Thomas Fidone. Thomas Fidone, to his credit, I've been against Thomas Fidone as a blocker prior to this season, but he has been able to develop into a serviceable blocker, and there's been instances where we've pointed that out. Yet, from a sheer size standpoint, Liebentritt's a little bit bigger, more maybe able to block at a better rate.
Do it.
Yes, right? Against a Big Ten body, a fellow Big Ten body, rather than just like a UTEP linebacker, if you will. So why do we rarely see that combination at the 5-yard line, but then on 3rd and 3 from wherever they were, it was the 21. From the 21-yard line, all of a sudden they pop in.
Yeah.
Yet, because then if you run conventional with that group at the 5, guess what you can do the next game at the 5 with that same group?
Pop
you
pass,
can
roll out.
Yes,
something.
exactly what Illinois did to you all game on Friday.
Pulling up a couple drives here. So the first drive that Nebraska kicked the field goal on, and so second drive of the game. When Nebraska got to the 20, it got there by a 9-yard pass from Iola to Banks. Dowdell run for none. Dowdell converts the first on the very next play. So there's 2 runs inside the 20. First down from the 19, 3-yard pass. Then it's an 11-yard pass. So you get down 1st and goal at the 5. Illinois takes a timeout. Dowdell for 2. Incomplete pass, field goal. Nebraska's next drive, Raiola pass to Nair for the touchdown from 6 yards away. Nebraska's next drive does not get there. Nebraska's drive to essentially end the half to go down and score. You get 3rd and 6 to the 38, 27-yard pass to Jamal Banks. Then the second touchdown to Isaiah Nair, pass inside the 10. But it's to Isaiah Nair both times. Nebraska's goal line offense, even red zone offense, hasn't been nearly as creative, right? You see goal line fades, you see pass interference balls.
There's been a lot of
no
50-50.
crossers, there's no meshing, there's none of that high efficiency stuff. And I don't care how good Dylan Raiola is. I don't care how good a jump ball receiver Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair are. They're not Brady to Gronk. They're not Brady to Randy Moss at this point. And even that was an inefficient proposition.
Yeah.
You got to get creative with the play call. You got to get down to business with the personnel. You're not right now. And you cost yourself arguably the game by settling for a field goal on your second drive of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely agree with you. I'm trying to go back to just some previous games that Nebraska played in, like Colorado, and trying to just go through drive by drive to see kind of how they operated inside the 15, 20-yard lines. Because you look at Colorado, right, and give credit to them. Outside of the Illinois game, Nebraska came out and on their first drive of the game would be pretty successful in what they did. But like Colorado's a perfect example where guess what you did on Nebraska's first drive of the ball game? So they forced Colorado to go on a 3-and-out within 53 seconds of game time. And then you get the ball to start with 13:56 on the clock. You complete a short pass to the left to Ramir Johnson for a 2-yard loss. So that backs us up to 2nd down and 12. Ramir then goes 2nd down and 12, rush for 2 yards. It's now 3rd down and 10 from the Colorado 49-yard line. Raiola runs to the 37 for a first down. Quick pass to Ja'Cory Barney. I believe that was a jet toss, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, same with like the Bonner touchdown. That goes down as a pass, not a run.
To Ja'Cory Barney for 8 yards. But then guess what? Dante Dowdell, 13. At the 12-yard line, Dante Dowdell, 12-yard gain, touchdown. Back-to-back, double-digit yards gained for Dante Dowdell.
You broke a guy's forearm on one,
That's
and he
right.
made the other guy make a business decision on the second.
And to Ted's point, Ted's pretty fired up about all this stuff. He goes 1st and goal inside the 5, literally need 1.5 yards 4 times for a touchdown. I cannot fathom why Nebraska felt that they couldn't run the ball into the end zone. That was what was confusing on the first drive of the game. And I'm hesitant to dissect drive by drive because I think feel of the game in the moment matters a lot. But there was the moment where on 1st down and goal, they got Dante Dowdell on 1st and goal from the 5, 2.5 yards.
You get halfway home.
You got halfway home. And what'd you elect to do on the 2nd and 3rd down? You
pass.
threw the ball twice. I'm okay with that. Once again, if you're sitting there going, down 7-0 this stage of the ball game, it's 4-down territory. We're trying to assert ourselves and show that we came to play. I don't know if they did that because then you settle for a field goal and it kind of feels deflating because you had first and goal, essentially second down and goal from the 2.5 yard line.
Right. Nebraska's run pass ratio was closer to 50-50 this week than it was against Colorado and against Northern Iowa. I still think there's plenty to dissect there. And again, I think it goes back to Nebraska is not necessarily good enough to just line up and be basic at running the ball. I don't think the offensive line is strong enough, right? Dowdell's been good. He hasn't been perfect. So you can't be boring, but you can't get too cute. There's a fine line to walk with personnel and with play call, because we don't love it if Nebraska could just line up an I formation, line up and run inside zone, whatever it is you want to do, run it 2 or 3 times, get into the end zone, everyone's happy at the end. I just don't know if this offensive line is big enough and strong enough consistently to do that. Or maybe they haven't been coached to do it. Maybe they are, and they're just not being used that way. And if Marcus Satterfield would say, we're not doing anything but this one play, man up, shove him into the end zone, let's get 6 points on the board. I don't know.
Maybe we can pause. Can we pause 10 seconds? Because I want to bring your thoughts to something.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We briefly had this conversation during the break about personnel, and I wanted to kind of bring it to the air because Nebraska's, and this is a positive on Nebraska, going back to specifically that 3rd down and 3 play call, right? With the Liebentritt and the rest of the guys out there.
Borger, Lindenmeyer.
Yes, thank you. Nebraska, and to their credit, to the staff's credit, to the lack of transfers that they've had also, players leaving the program, they have depth in areas. In for this conversation's purpose, tight end, they have depth. Wide receiver, they have depth. They built the depth. That's why you don't see Alex Bullock out there anymore, and no slight to Alex Bullock or any of these guys' names that I'm going to mention. Nebraska's just gotten better. They've gotten deeper, whether it's Alex Bullock. That's why Malachi Coleman is redshirting this year, or whatever the plan is for him. He was a contributor last year. Yeah. And that's not a knock to Malachi or to Alex or to Lindenmeyer or to Borkacher
before him, or Levi Falk before him.
The long list of names. That's not a knock to them at all. What I'm getting at is that the competition has gotten greater, which means Nebraska should be able to become more creative in what they want to do, in the personnels that they use. But then also they should be able to, how do I want to say this? Be diverse in their play calling, to where there is a role, a carved out role for that package involving Liebentritt and Lindenmeyer and Borkacher. But then there's also one that features Fedoni and Bonner. Same way that hopefully next year there is a package that features whatever wide receivers they bring in. And then there's a blend of the Jalen Lloyds and the Malachi Colemans. Because there's a spot, and I'm sure that there's a plan going forward that includes all of those guys.
Yeah.
But that then goes back to the coaching. Are you able to identify the situation and make the proper call on what, not only what personnel needs to be out there to what suits the situation currently best, but also can those guys make the plays?
Right.
It needs to be twofold. Nebraska, we're not having the conversations today on Monday going, yeah, you know what? You had to put Liebentritt and Borkacher and I'm always Lindenmeyer because you don't have anybody else. That's not the conversation we're having. That is not the conversation we're having either. That's what I think is important to note, and is actually a positive on Nebraska. Now it's just the personnel does matter, and Nebraska's coaching staff needs to figure out a way to use them the best.
1809. Hold on. Are you guys saying the offense was the problem Friday night? It was obvious that the defense was the problem, as well as our subpar kicking personnel. I don't want to speak for you, Nick, so I'll just speak for myself and let you wrap your thoughts up in just a sec. Everything was the problem. The defense was not great, but the defense made a key play that gave the team a chance to win. The offense only scored 7 points in the second half and missed plenty of opportunities. But if the defense had played up to its standard, guess what? 24 points has won that game a number of times for Nebraska.
I frankly expected 24 points to win that game. So, I think here's in response to that before we go to break. 1809, to your point. I don't think I'll agree with Austin and just kind of say everything was the problem, right? Because we don't know If Nebraska makes that field goal, then, who knows what happens going forward. I think there were some situations to where offensively it was not executed as smoothly or as efficiently as it could have been. Maybe even as much as we've seen it executed as well this year. I thought there were certain instances. Don't look at just the rush yards, because the stats will show you that Illinois outgained Nebraska on the ground 166-48. Well, unfortunately, because college statistics is dumb, they include the minus 52 sack yards that Dylan Raiola had in there as well. So if you take that, Nebraska essentially ran the ball for 100 yards. So they got outgained on the ground 166-100. That shouldn't happen.
Matt Rule doesn't want it to happen.
Matt Rule doesn't want it to happen, but yet that's why we're dissecting these decisions on 3rd and short, or on 2nd and goal to go, or 3rd and goal to go, is because for now the 4th week this season, we've seen instances and can point to plays where not only has it worked when they've went the Matt Rule philosophy, but it also hasn't worked when they've gone away from that we want to be the dominant, run the football down your throat type of team. Over and over, even in the middle quarters of Friday's game, Nebraska was running the ball down the middle, down the throat of the Illini defense and finding success. But the minute that they went away from it, you noticed that they struggled and they got stagnant. And then they got into a 3rd down and 9. Well, you can't do that. You can't run the ball down the middle on 3rd and 9. Number one, because you have a 3rd string left tackle playing, which I thought Gunnar Gatula came in and played fine. But then also, for whatever reason, your right guard hasn't been available for the last 2 weeks, which is a problem in itself. And Henry Lutovsky has had to be in there. And so you look at that offensive line and go, these are problems we could avoid. But yet one guy can't stay on the field for whatever reason. And Micah Mazuka, which by the way, is probably an issue that stemmed a couple of years, but yet they still brought him in, and that's fine. I'm all for 2nd and 3rd chances, but you got to figure it out. And once again, we can't sit here and go, yeah, you know what? Listen, they're asking Isaiah Nair to do things that he's just not able to do, or they're asking Dante Dowdell. No, Dante Dowdell has proven that he's a back that can probably carry the ball 20 times a game. So why against Northern Iowa, why did he only get it 6? That part, why? It doesn't just match up to maybe what we're always hearing and what is shown to be successful.
And the difference between this game and previous games is the level of competition. Nebraska had found a way to make that next play to extend the lead. The moment that Nebraska missed that, Nick, was after that 29-yard pass from Raiola to Nair to start Nebraska's first drive of the second half. They get 1 yard on Dante Dowdell run, lose 5 on a false start.
Yep.
And then what does that lead to? A 53-yard punt by Buschini that goes the wrong direction.
Yeah, Matt Rule said it today.
And we will get to that next. Special teams still a problem. Why is that? What are the fixes? Do we need to have the conversation? That'll lead off our next segment here during On the Block. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
HealthLink is elevating the human experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers, or by phone at 402-858-9356.
Experience a cleaner tomorrow with Niederhaus Refuse. Whether it's weekly residential pickups, large-scale commercial disposals, recycling, or roll-off, Niederhaus's team is here with reliable, efficient service and the most advanced solutions. Discover the difference that a committed and experienced waste management company can make. Niederhaus Refuse has been in business for over 100 years and is family-owned and operated since 1921. Call Niederhaus Refuse at 402-475-8361 and visit their website at nbrefuselincoln.com to learn more or sign up for your service today.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Starter Heyman Jewelers. My grandpa Don always made sure that our diamonds are the most exceptional you could find in the world. That's why we're introducing our exclusive Heartland Diamond Collection. If you're ready to add some sparkle to your life that you can see from across the room, the Heartland Diamond is for you. Stop in to Starter Heyman to see for yourself. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Get closer to the magic than ever before. Play along with the Toy Story gang. Explore the colorful world of Coco. Sail away with Moana. Soar to new heights with Belle. And journey to Arendelle to thaw a frozen heart. It's an all-out celebration at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing Pinnacle Bank Arena this Friday through Sunday. Visit DisneyOnIce.com for show details and get your tickets today.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert with this week's 93.7 The Ticket High School Athlete of the Week, presented by 3 Pillars Performance. Congrats to Wahoo's Kip Brigham, who had 14 carries, 362 rushing yards, and 8 total touchdowns in Wahoo's win over Aurora. High School Athlete of the Week is powered by 3 Pillars Performance. Unlock your peak performance with expert instruction at 3 Pillars Performance in Lincoln and online at 3pillarsperformance.com.
What's your radon level at home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111 for radon testing and mitigation.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Stricken Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Stricken Austin.
Hour 2 of a Monday show involves plenty more Husker football reaction. I'm Austin, Nick Sainert to my left, filling in for Stricky today. Thanks again, Nick. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys letting me.
For the ride.
Yeah.
So, the show brought to you by NEBCO. Check them out, nebcoinc.com. They're hiring for constructors and also ready mixed concrete. nebcoinc.com again to check that out. 402-464-5685. Y'all have been tremendous on the text line as well as on the YouTube streams. Really appreciate you guys. Not just makes our job easier, but you spark stuff in us. You spark conversations. It's me and Nick talking to each other, but we really hope you do feel like you're part of the show. We do appreciate you guys and your continued involvement here. Special teams. Few of you have brought it up. I promise we weren't, just kicking it down the road. We're getting to it here. Nick, it continues to be a problem. Kickoffs aren't going through the end zone, or kick coverage isn't great when it's not. Punting is hit or miss, boom or bust, I think, from Buschini. You have the highs and then the lows that set up a touchdown for Illinois after Nebraska failed to capitalize on a big play. We know about field goal kicking. But, hey, I guess Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda is, living, has a pulse.
That's my thing. Is like, and I've actually had this conversation with a couple of people. Maybe we're not giving Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda enough credit. And he hasn't done anything that's sparked big plays for Nebraska necessarily. But you talk about in this day and age of college football, a guy that is perfectly acceptable with having a role even though he's not catching passes on Friday or on Saturdays from the arm of Dylan Raiola, he understands that his role on this team is to go in there every single punt and be a sure hand that we're not going to muff the ball or muff the punt. It's not going to get fumbled. We're going to, even if Nebraska sits back there and fair catches every single one at the 20-yard line. There's been so much uncertainty at that position at punt returner, something as little as punt returner over the last 5 years for Nebraska, that it's almost a breath of fresh air that, and I hope I'm not jinxing him, knock on wood, that Isaiah Garcia Castaneda has been pretty consistent and stable back there.
Stable is the word. He hasn't done anything to go above and beyond.
No.
Right? He wasn't the doctor that's going in there and performing the miracle surgery to save the life. He's the first responder who's stabilizing them at the scene of the accident.
And he's not. Here's the thing. Like,
shout out EMTs, by the way.
I'm not like, it's not a comparison to like DeMornay Pearson-L, like, because DPE was electric back there.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, through the injuries, might not just have that ability, but he sure can understand, okay, when to let this ball go, or I'm going to signal fair catch, or I'm going to try to return this one. There's an electric spark if you wanted to put Ja'Cory Barney Jr. back there, but also understanding that maybe Ja'Cory isn't quite ready for the full-time gig, and that's okay. It's okay to slowly wean him into that role. But Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, when you need somebody with sure hands, he's done that to this point. We haven't talked about issues at punt return. We haven't talked about extraordinary plays, but almost I'd rather be talking about, yeah, you know what? They're just back there fair catching every single time, and there hasn't been a whole lot of turnovers or opponents being able to get a free possession out of it. I'd rather have that conversation rather than, oh, we're fumbling it nonstop.
Right. We've had the punt return conversation now. We've talked about punting for the last couple of years, right? It felt kind of Michigan State-esque, except instead of kicking the ball all the way to the right side of the field as Nebraska was running down, it was down the middle, which gave Nebraska a chance. But the returner caught the ball at the 6-yard line, returned it for 37 yards.
Yeah.
Those aren't even hidden yards. Those are glaringly obvious yards that change the game. Kickoffs, Nebraska's not consistently putting it through the end zone, but they're also not covering it when it doesn't go to the end zone. Jimmy Horn's return against Nebraska for Colorado comes to mind here. But, Nick, the major issue is field goal kicking, place kicking, long snapping. Aiden Flagey, I think is his name, right?
Yeah,
has been
yes.
Fine. Short snapping there, not seen any major issues. Buschini doesn't get the laces all the way out on holes, missed kick. I'm not a kicker. I don't know how much goes into that. If that's a mental thing, a physical thing, physics not necessarily my strong suit. But Matt Rule brought up by name today Brett Maher.
Yeah.
Who's been on the staff with Nebraska, right? Just hadn't been, formally announced before. So it's not like this is a new role. This isn't Matt Rule jumping in to save the day with this by any means. Kickers are just, quarterback is a unique position. So is kicker, right? Unless you're a kicker, how do you coach kickers? How do you get inside their mind? It feels a lot more mental, but it's got to be something physical with Nebraska's kickers at this point. Brett Maher was solid at Nebraska, not necessarily lights out. Oh, and if you want to get over a mental block, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that you bring in the guy that once missed 4 extra points in an NFL playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for bringing in bodies to help, right? Sure. I'm all for it. I think it's good, especially the former player aspect, right? I think it's they're accessible, right, to you. They are a lot of times willing and wanting to help as well. So I have no issues with that at all. For Nebraska's special teams, though, at some point it has to get addressed at the top. And I'm not trying to come out here on a Monday and be like, Ed Foley, you're on the hot seat. Like, that's not what I'm getting at. But at some point, and it sounded like today that Tristan Alvano is going to be shut down for some sort of time, that it seems like they're moving forward with John Hull as the starting kicker, and that's fine. But I also looked at it as, okay, you went to New Jersey and recruited a guy by the name of Nico Ottamanelli to come in and do kicking duties. Why not give him a shot? It doesn't have to be that Nico is the full-time kicker. It doesn't have to be that John Hull is the full-time kicker. But with the 4-game redshirt rule too, you don't have to sort this problem out today.
No.
You don't need it figured out by the end of the game on Saturday against Purdue. You have a little bit of grace period to where if you work it correctly, not only in practice, but even in a game. I was out there on Friday night behind, underneath the goalposts, watching Nico drill 50-yarders back to back to back to back right over the top of my head. And then I go out there and we watch. Nebraska can't make a 39-yarder. I'm not saying that Nico Amanelli is the answer to all of Nebraska's problems. John Hull,
it's only so simple.
It's nothing personal to John Hull and Tristan Alvano. You could wipe the names off, and it's truly nothing personal. The statistics are the statistics, and the amount of games that Nebraska's lost by one possession is factual. That Nebraska's left a lot of points out on the field, and it should not be good enough, whether they're from the state, whether they're outside of the state, whether whoever's coaching. I don't care. It should not be good enough. 45% on field goals when we're talking about 20-yarders and 30-yarders. We're not talking about 45 and 50-yarders. We're talking about makeable chip shots, if you will, on this day and age of college football. Because then you look around and program after program is replacing their 4-year starter with another serviceable kicker.
I don't know this for a fact, but I think it brings up another question here, Nick, as we go back to play calling. Where is John Hull most comfortable from?
There you go.
Did they have that conversation with him? Do they know that John Hull is particularly good from the left hash? Maybe, hey, it was the laces didn't get out. Maybe his timing was off, whatever, and that's why he missed it. Or did Nebraska miss an opportunity to set John Hull up for success by not running, something quick, a quick hitter to the outside, to the right to get him to the right hash? Did they not, take advantage of the opportunity to run off tackle to the right to place the ball in the middle of the field for him to get it straight on? They throw the pass on 3rd and 3, and he's kicking from the left hash. Maybe he's most comfortable there. I don't know. But if your plan is always to kick it, you better be sure that he's best from the left hash and not middle or right.
Exactly. And those are little things that maybe we don't even always take into account as just the casual college football fan. But that's, once again, goes back to the job of the coaches that you put in place to understand, okay, these are the minor details that when kicking is such a mental game, are we as coaches doing everything we can up until the players having to execute? Because just like we talked about with offense and defense, you need snap, hold, kick. You have to drill it through the pipes, like Matt Rule said today. Has to go through. So up until that point of the snap, are the coaches doing everything they can to put the guys in place to be successful?
And you can go back to the timeout wasted on the challenge. You don't want Nebraska, quote unquote, icing its own kicker. If he misses it, it looks bad. But this is a dude making his first, trot onto the field for a big kick at Nebraska. If you have all 3 timeouts, are you able to use one there, let John Hull catch his breath, not get caught up in the moment, refocus, settle down, and you still have 2 left? Because with 2 timeouts left in that situation, you're absolutely not calling timeout.
You're absolutely right.
That would be coaching malpractice. But if you had 3, I've seen stupider timeouts used. If it's going to win you the game, call the timeout, settle the young man down. So again, this is, I think, the ultimate problem as we get ready to turn the page to talk to Brian Munson of Husker Online here. It was a lot of little things from all the units, right? Some big things, certainly, big picture, play calling, personnel on offense, tackling, maybe schematics on defense, and then this complete lack of a place kicker on special teams. But despite the big picture problems, it's little correctable things that add up that I ultimately think Nebraska lost the game on in overtime. We'll go to break. We'll call it Brian Munson of Husker Online. Dayton Raiola in the fold for Nebraska, their 2026 quarterback. What does that mean for the Huskers, and more with Brian after this?
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing cloud cover throughout the day and white winds with an afternoon high around 73. Tonight we'll see increasing cloud cover with a low around 52. Then tomorrow, a chance of showers, possibly storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and a high around 78. I'm meteorologist Kyle Vick for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we are out of the gate for September with a very special GMC sales offer. We must move out all new GMC truck inventory fast. So right now at Koppel, we are offering true GM supplier pricing for everyone. Yes, you heard right. True GM supplier pricing on all GMC Sierras. That's over $12,000 off on select models. That's GM supplier pricing, $12,000 off on Sierras. Do not wait. Stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Experience a cleaner tomorrow with Niederhaus Refuse. Whether it's weekly residential pickups, large-scale commercial disposals, recycling, or roll-off, Niederhaus's team is here with reliable, efficient service and the most advanced solutions. Discover the difference that a committed and experienced waste management company can make. Niederhaus Refuse has been in business for over 100 years and is family-owned and operated since 1921. Call Niederhaus Refuse at 402-475-8361 and visit their website at nbrefuselincoln.com to learn more or sign up for your service today.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
3:30, I should say, on a Monday, which means we go to our Allo Fiber VIP line and welcome in one of our favorites, Brian Munson of Husker Online. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Brian, before we dive into Husker football and recruiting and whatnot, Buffalo Bills hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight, Monday Night Football. I assume you're taking the Bills pretty big?
You know it. I mean, obviously, I think it's one of those things where I don't think people really had I know I didn't. I didn't have a lot of confidence coming out of preseason. They didn't score a lot of points. I don't think they scored a touchdown till like week 3. And they don't have one guy kind of standing out except for maybe James Cook, that's their running back, and wanted to go with their quarterback, Josh Allen, that's really having a spectacular season. I mean, it's really been an unusual kind of season so far. The distribution of the ball is great. Shakir seems like he's kind of the go-to guy, but that's worth only about 5 or 6 touches a game. So it's really been an interesting team to kind of watch so far. The good news is like the defense is still very stout. The bad news is the defense still has a lot of injuries, just like they did a year ago. So I think tonight's going to be fun, getting back in Buffalo and and seeing what they can do to kind of keep this thing rolling. But yeah, I like the Bills by a bunch tonight.
Bills 2-0, Jags 0-2, 6:30 kickoff for that one. Well, speaking of kickoff, Brian, we kick off the Nebraska football 2026 recruiting class with a quarterback, familiar last name, Dayton Raiola in the fold. Let's just start with, okay, he's a Raiola, he's a quarterback, he's the first commit in the class. What sort of weight does his commitment carry for any guys that Nebraska's on for 2026 right now?
Oh, Bonwell White was one of the first guys I saw that had retweeted or liked his commitment, and so I kind of get that information back through my Twitter or whatever and kind of saw that stuff. So it is getting picked up on out there, of course, that you have another quarterback named Raiola that's committed to Nebraska in the 2026 class. So it is going to be something nice to have for Nebraska to turn back around now, because this is really, the fall has been so far about 2 or 3 2025 guys, and really laying the groundwork for the 2026 and the 2027 class. So I think it's nice to have a name there that's recognizable, that you can hang your hat on. And, Dayton and Dylan, they sound exactly the same on the phone. It was hysterical last night, because when I called Dayton said, "Hello, Mr. Bryan," just like what Dylan said. And I was just like, your brother said the exact same thing to me 3 years ago after he got his offer. And it was just, they sound identical. They really do. So I think that this is really great for Nebraska to have some sort of way to kind of show how the class is going and how they plan on kind of building it. And they build it around this kind of core essential position.
Identical sounding maybe, but certainly not identical on the field. Maybe mirror images, right? With Dayton being a lefty. He's not fully grown yet, right? 5'11", 6 foot, 200. Is there a projection that he's going to grow to be maybe similarly sized to what Dylan is, or is he different body type wise?
I think he's 6'1", 210 now is what I saw out there someplace else. We haven't gotten a real great updated height and weight on him. In fact, maybe I'll text him about that after I get off the phone here. But I think 6'1", 210 is about the right size. I assume he's still growing, but I mean, I think he shot up quite a bit, basically from his sophomore year to his junior year. So I think he's probably in the last part here of that growth spurt that you can kind of expect before, all the growth plates start closing off and whatever. But yeah, he's a little different, but I mean, same kind of private coach, Jeff Christensen, of course, that has worked with his brother, worked with Pat Mahomes, worked with other quarterbacks. He's leading a different looking Buford team. They're not as dominant as what it was when his brother was there. But I mean, they opened up against the number 6 team in the country for the first game that Dayton was getting a chance to start in high school, and they lost by 3. And that team now, I think it's Milford County, they're rated like number 3 in the country now. So, and Buford is now 4-1. So he's taken them and won the next 4 games. They beat some really, really, really tough teams. His stats are not glowing, but he's managing the game well. And I think it's one of those things that's just going to kind of come with the rest of this season and see what he ends up doing next year. But he's still working on things. And I think it's just he needs to keep growing and seeing the competition.
Part of Dylan Raiola's recruiting story was the flips. Ohio State to Georgia, Georgia to Nebraska. But Dylan was a ballyhooed prospect, right? High 4 to 5-star for as long as at least I can remember. Brian, I'm sure he started down below somewhere. But Dayton's not that, right? Unranked some places, 3-star other places, low 4. And, of course, there are the little rumblings that, Dayton, was maybe more in on the Huskers earlier than Dylan was in his football journey. Do you think this is a solid commitment that Nebraska can rely on, or do you think we got another saga in store?
Oh no, this one. I tell you what, it was such a great conversation last night. And people don't realize that we had quotes up from Dayton last night about his commitment. But basically, he was saying, since he's been a baby, that he's known he wants to go play for Nebraska. He asked to have his father's Nebraska jersey hanging in his room since he was like in 4th or 5th grade. And, during the UTEP game or before the UTEP game, when he heard his brother's name announced and heard the roar from the fans, and he told his brother after that game, I think I want to join you. And then he went to the Colorado game and the Huskers beat the Buffaloes, and he tells his parents, I think I want to commit. And they said, you need to think on this. And then, of course, last night he makes that phone call to Matt Rule and announces it about 30 minutes later publicly. So I don't think there's any reason at all to doubt this commitment, or think that this is the beginning of any type of saga or any type of story that's going to have twists and turns. I think that this was destiny. I really do. I think that this one was one where he was destined to be a Husker. This is the 5th, I think, or 4th at least, between dad, brother, he, and his sister now that works for the university. Raiola basically to be there in Lincoln. So I don't think there's anything to worry about with Dayton at all.
We're speaking to Brian Munson of Husker Online, and Brian, I guess looking forward, obviously Dayton, a 2026 guy, but a bigger picture at Nebraska's quarterback room, just playing the hypothetical, what could it look like going forward? And obviously every staff wants to get a quarterback more than likely in every recruiting class. That's just how college football is nowadays. But for the way that at least Nebraska started their season at the quarterback position, it looks like Dylan has that position locked down for the long haul until whether he moves on to NFL draft opportunities or who knows what happens going forward. But then not only that, they went out and got another Elite 11 guy in Daniel Kalen, this recruiting class in 2024. 2025, it's TJ Lateef currently committed to Nebraska. Well, now 2026 is locked down with Dayton Raiola. What's the outlook, the realistic outlook for Nebraska's quarterback room these next couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, you essentially gave the outline of what we know right now. I mean, I think the one wrinkle that you could kind of go back to the 2024 class and say is, they took 2 quarterbacks in the 2024 class, and you have one of them that's redshirting, one of them that's playing. I think the one kind of very valid question that I got asked on Red Sea Scrolls last night was, is Dayton the only quarterback that Nebraska takes in the 2026 class? Mm-hmm. And I would say, there's got to be a possibility, at least, that they have to entertain the idea of taking another one, because I think that it's laying out there in front of us all that, Dylan would likely jump to the NFL after his 3rd year, right? So if you're looking at it that way, then you're looking at it as like you need someone between Kalen, Lateef, Dayton to really be, the starting guy, and you cannot have basically like a failure or a letdown or nothing. Yeah. You need to have consistency basically from losing what some people might consider to be, like a first day kind of quarterback, draft pick, in a couple of years, So I think that part really is the most interesting thing. I mean, you had a guy like Michael Clayton who came in from Orlando. I think Nebraska's in very good standing with him. Would he be interested, however, in being the second quarterback in a class to another kid that's last name is Raiola? I don't know. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, obviously there was some questions around Daniel Kalen as soon as Dylan wanted in. Yeah. So I think that this is going to be very interesting to see how this thing works out. I mean, maybe they find themselves again at some point, trying to get back into the portal, trying to find a guy that they can get a year out of, to where he can kind of come in there and do something. I don't think that the track record, supports doing that, but I mean, maybe it's an option that Nebraska feels good about somewhere else down the line.
When you look at that situation specifically for 26, I know they're high school kids, and God bless you for making a living trying to parse their words and pick their brains and follow up with them to see which way the wind is blowing this day. We've all been there. I'm not trying to knock them, but quarterback specifically, Brian, it's tough, right? Only one on the field at a time outside of, trick plays or whatever. Rough estimate, what percentage of young quarterbacks are maybe wired like a Daniel Kalen that's okay with coming in and competing, willing to sit in redshirt? And what percentage of quarterbacks are the type that want to feel special, be the only one in the class? And how many, maybe it's an even different percentage that says they're okay with competition. They get to campus for a year, say, competition's not for me. I want to go play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to put a percentage on it, but I think that you've nailed the buckets. You have the recruit that comes in and says, I don't care about being one of two, or you have the one that says, I want to be the only one. And then you have the guy that says, I know I have to compete, to get on the field regardless, no matter who's in the room or who's in the class. And then they get to Lincoln and they see how, talented the room is, and they see how long how long it's going to take potentially to have to unseat somebody and compete with someone. And they know that they've got some relationship somewhere from way back in the process, some school that they decided not to choose, or somebody that's currently in the media that's getting a new coach that becomes like the hot, shiny new, kind of program that they feel like they could potentially go out and jump to if they went into the portal. So I don't know necessarily how those percentages kind of play out. I think that what you have there too is you have this kind of unusual thing, this backbone of NIL now that kind of also then funds, how things are kind of moving along. And we all know very few people have popped out, of Matt Rule's program. Once they have kind of found their way there, I think that they're understanding that, number one, Rule has a way in a process in place to kind of keep people, on the payroll. Everything is fair. Everything was equitable. And I think that also through that whole type of process right there and how they're doing all that stuff, it's very transparent. And I think that there's not really anything that's out there where where you have selfishness and greed and people trying to hide things from other people. So I think that way that it kind of plays out, all out in the open, I think that people really kind of value that. So I do feel like you bucketized it properly. I do feel like there are those situations with all of them. I'm guessing that based on what Dayton said last night, that he potentially would be, against being, one of two guys in the class, just because that's how things have kind of been for him for his career. He's used that time to train, to get ready, to observe, to soak it all in. He did it with his brother. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how things continue to play out with that 2026 group, to see if they take a second guy.
All right, Brian, before we let you go, I got to ask, 2025 class is slowly winding down here in Nebraska. Obviously, with Dayton's commitment is looking 2026. We know Jackson Cantwell visited a couple of weeks ago as well for the Colorado game with some other 2026 guys throughout the course of the season. But one big one certainly remains out there for Nebraska fans and on their radar, and that's Michael Terry III. Any new updates? Because it's kind of been quiet on that front since he visited for that Colorado game. It's kind of been quiet ever since then.
Very quiet. I mean, and if you go back and you reread what the experts had been saying about when they felt like he was going to make a decision, which was probably before the start of his senior season. And then all of a sudden it carried into the Colorado game. And then all of a sudden, Colorado game, he's there. And then all of a sudden he's going radio silent again. I think Nebraska fans have to at least be a little bit optimistic here at this point. I mean, I for one feel like it's always been a challenge to get anybody out of the state of Texas that UT really wants. Now you're talking about what, the number one, number two team in the country.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's even really close after them in Georgia. I mean, there's a huge fall off in my opinion. So it's a difficult scenario. But I mean, Michael Terry seems really connected to Dylan. He seems very connected, of course, still to TJ Lateef. And I think the way that Nebraska has decided to recruit him and how they see him kind of fitting in and what they're doing with their offense and what he could do for them, I think he really loves the sales pitch that Matt Rule and his staff is giving to him.
There it is. Brian Munson of Husker Online with us here during On the Block. Check out his work, huskeronline.com. Wednesdays, I know there's always some good stuff out whenever there's any recruiting visits. Road game this week, Brian. Nebraska back home for Rutgers. We'll see what's cooking maybe for the visitor list for Rutgers if you have any idea on that next week. Thanks for your time.
Yep, 2 big ones already confirmed for next week, but we'll talk about that next week.
There you go. That's Brian Munson with us again of Husker Online on our Allo Fiber VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. All of our 93.7 The Ticket content, Allo Channel 961. If you are a cable subscriber to them, make sure you definitely check out Channel 961. That way, you don't have to pull up your car, you don't have to pull up your app or anything on your phone. You can listen to us. You can watch us on your TV. You can fire off your text. Everything we say is right, so I wouldn't say to correct us, but to tell us just how right we've been all show long. That is the beauty of Allo Channel 961. Jay Foreman in the house. We'll cross over with Old School to wrap it up.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. My grandpa Don always made sure that our diamonds are the most exceptional you could find in the world. That's why we're introducing our exclusive Heartland Diamond Collection. If you're ready to add some sparkle to your life that you can see from across the room, the Heartland Diamond is for you. Stop in to Sartor Heyman to see for yourself. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert with this week's 93.7 The Ticket High School Athlete of the Week, presented by 3 Pillars Performance. Congrats to Wahoo's Kip Brigham, who had 14 carries, 362 rushing yards, and 8 total touchdowns in Wahoo's win over Aurora. High School Athlete of the Week is powered by 3 Pillars Performance. Unlock your peak performance with expert instruction at 3 Pillars Performance in Lincoln and online at 3pillarsperformance.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $437 per month for 36 months. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004120, $437 per month, lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, 5,500 due at signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 9/30/2024. See dealer for details.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through September 24th is spend $50, get one center cut ribeye for free, limit of one. Also, $1 off all honey. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Hey guys, it's Austin with 93.7 The Ticket. Our Sunday afternoon is full of NFL action, starting with the New York Jets hosting the Denver Broncos at noon. The mid-afternoon game will feature the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the Cleveland Browns, with both teams looking to even their record at 2 wins and 2 losses. Our nightcap will be a matchup of AFC heavyweights as the Baltimore Ravens host the Buffalo Bills. You can catch all the biggest NFL games right here on Lincoln's home for the NFL, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back one final time here during On the Block. Austin Norman, Nick Sainer, and in the middle, Jay Foreman. All right, Jay, you're the middle linebacker here.
Yep.
Am I Sam or is Nick Sam linebacker here? Which way are we drawing this up?
Nick would be Sam.
Nick's the Sam.
Yeah,
why is that? Okay. Have explanations here.
Walk us through this.
Yeah, why?
Because you got a little bit more junk in the trunk. You can anchor down a little bit.
Just a little more width.
Yeah, you got
I'm the rangy backside pass rusher that can anchor down.
You like Ray Knock Thompson from University of Tennessee back in the day. Tall, rangy, run and hit, big play guy. Nick's Mr. Consistency. Set the edge, which obviously Nebraska needed this week or this past game, and can definitely take on those big tight ends.
Right? I can't be mad about that.
Plays with some great leverage.
There I am.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Leverage man.
Yeah.
Mr. Leverage, Nick Sainer.
That's what they called me.
Never out leverage him.
Leverage chief.
There you go. Nick, let's give a shout out here to our Three Pillars Performance Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, how about Joe Andreessen is the Three Pillars Performance Athlete of the Week. He had 274 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns for the Thunderbolts of Lincoln Pius X in a 42-7 win over Platteview. Not a homer pick. It was good. He was really, really good. 270 yards, 4 tutties. That's your Three Pillars Performance Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, that's a good day's work, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good.
Who you guys have this coming Friday for a game?
Millard South and Lincoln Southeast.
Woo.
So you have the high-powered offense of Millard South, all the D1 talent, and then Lincoln Southeast, which is good in their own right, but it's going to be a good one.
We can get into. Tamala's a 26 guy, right?
Tamala is a 26 guy. I don't know.
Is he in that conversation to walk on behind Dayton Raiola potentially?
I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Jay too. I don't
think he's walking on anywhere.
I think he's good enough to go somewhere.
I'm sure he has offers right now, or will be having some pretty soon.
I view him.
He's got talent.
I view him as a group of 5 guy, or maybe an Iowa State, like an Iowa State type of program.
I think he's gotten better. He just needs to get a little bit, bigger, but that just comes with time. I think he, has experience of throwing with some high quality athletes, so his transition should be a little bit more seamless. Right now, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a crapshoot on any quarterback. It's all upstairs, in between their ears. That usually sets them out. I mean, arm strength, you can, that obviously jumps out, but accuracy, I think he does pretty good. I think, judging from last year, the struggles he had definitely in the playoffs and some big games last year, I think he's, righted those wrongs. And so you see a player that's getting better, it might come down to like, you might try to take 2 quarterbacks. We did it this year. You could do it again.
Is he a better pure quarterback than say like Cole Payton from Westside?
He's got a better arm.
Yeah, he's got a better. He's more. Cole Payton was more like a left-handed Tim Tebow. Great leader. A little funky delivery from his baseball background because he played a lot of baseball. But yeah, I think
he was a good baseball player. Yeah, I can attest to that.
And I think Tamala is he's definitely a better prospect. He's big, tall. He's about 6'4", 6'3", 6'4" kid.
We'll get to see Chase Lofton, the Florida State tight end commit, because obviously Lofton transferred from Elkhorn North to Millard South. Millard South's the place to be right now. If you want to just kind of create a super team in high school football, it's kind of Millard South right now. Millard South, West Side, obviously those are the 2 teams, but Millard South, they have obviously the wide receiver that I'm blanking on the name. Amarion Jackson.
Yeah, they got the other one that transferred in from Central.
Yep. Florida State commit Chase Lofton on that team.
They got Jensen, the other tight end. They got a couple big offensive linemen. They got a good running back.
Remember those dudes last year?
Which ones?
The ones that were chucking helmets and stuff. Remember when we saw those guys?
Yeah, the one kid that's the linebacker, number 6. He's on. I watched him when they played Arizona. He actually plays. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good player. I mean,
that's the thing. Millard South has 1 loss this year, but it's to a team from Arizona.
Yeah.
They went down there.
Yeah, and they, I thought they were pretty competitive. I just think, you traveling that far, playing against a team more ready-made for that situation, kind of, there was a difference there. I think they were a little bit more senior-led team that they played. Even though the Millard South is extremely good right now, a lot of their players are juniors. So they're going to be given the state's fits, for the next 2 years or the rest of this year and next year. So, they got a ton of talent, man. You even got Brian Washington's kids up there. I mean, anybody and everybody transferred up there. So they're pretty stacked. They got depth. They got a ton of speed, and they're proving it right now. Week in and week out, they are dominating everybody. But that doesn't mean they can't be beat, though.
It's been interesting to see the Metro kind of go in cycles. Bellevue, or Central and North to Bellevue West to West Side. Now it's Millard South's turn.
Well, it's still West Side right now.
West Side's still really good. Don't get me wrong. Right.
But you can be beat because there's only
one kid quarterbacking.
Yes, he is.
Braylon,
and he's a great prospect as well. And I probably would rank him a little bit higher than Tamala, really, to be honest with you, just because of
he's a 2027 guy, correct?
Sophomore this year.
Yeah. But he has some really good accuracy. The ball just explodes off his hands, and he's only going to get bigger. I always joke with Steve. Now, you got a son that's bigger than you now, so you better chill out, at least taller. So, I mean, look, man, there's only one football when you play against a great team. So you got to make them earn everything. And if you can, score enough points and do your thing on offense, you get into a fight. We've seen this Friday night, and as against Nebraska, if a team comes in and dictates the pace and wants it a little bit more, you can be beat. It doesn't matter who you got on the team.
News of last night into today is the commitment of younger nephew, Dayton Raiola to Nebraska in the 26th class. Talk about that if you want to. But really, Jay, I think the more interesting angle is there's not a lot of lefty quarterbacks, maybe more now than there was in the past.
Yeah.
Does anything change with the game plan, how you go through your reads as a defense facing a left-handed quarterback?
Oh, it definitely changes. The ball, it's just different from at least from my perspective. you can't find. Look, there's not a lot of left-handed quarterbacks out there. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So that means even if you're trying to get a look, you're going to bring a left-handed quarterback in, like in the pros for a week. That's not going to happen. So it does change a little bit. It's just awkward. Not awkward. Well, it is awkward. It's just different drops where you have to favor to. The ball just comes out different. It's no different if the league in baseball had a whole bunch of right-handers, and that's why left-handers are so unique because of the trajectory of the ball. But the one thing Dayton is he's gotten a lot bigger, leaned out some. He's gonna hit another growth spurt here. And the moment won't be too big for him. He's been to every place that his brother was. So going on these trips is probably just a matter of just him going through the motions. So he always knew that he wanted to come to Nebraska, and I'm happy for him. Kind of get it out of the way. Now he can just try to be the best quarterback that he can be, and learn the intricacies of being the best quarterback in Georgia.
Do you remember playing against any lefties, college or pros?
Not really. Not really. I mean, I know what he did, but nothing.
Like Tua, Tebow was lefty.
Yeah, Tebow was lefty.
Like I'm thinking of college quarterbacks there. Lefty Dylan Gabriel is a lefty.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of them. There's not.
Vic?
Yeah. No, I played against Michael Vick, but I was more worried about trying to corral him.
Yeah.
That was it. Passing, that's on the DBs. I'm trying to keep these hamstrings loose.
Mark Brunell?
Yeah. You know what? I played against Mark Brunell a few times.
There we go. We're jogging the memory. But
Byron Leftwich took over. I didn't play against Chris Sims, I don't think. That was when like John Gruden was the merry-go-round at quarterback. But I played against Mark Brunell. It's funny with his trajectory and the way that he played, he kind of was more mobile. Mm-hmm. So he actually kind of played into the right hand, effect of, the way we defensed him. And plus we'd see him like twice a year.
You would have missed Heupel, right?
Yep.
Just barely?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years?
Yeah. He never played though.
I guess with that, how does that change from does it change from a play calling standpoint?
Defensively?
From offensively.
Oh yeah.
Because now instead of rolling to the right more comfortably, it's going to be rolling to the left.
Yeah, but if he's your starter, it's no big deal. Because you can, they already have that game plan in from the whole offseason. So
true.
Dayton's he's in the process. He got 2 more years after this to, get it going. And then see where the chips, fall out. Look, he's not afraid of competition. I think he had a pretty good competition down there at his high school to earn the starting spot. So, being competitive is in their genes, and so it won't be somebody that tries to pack up and take the ball home.
A lot of college football, a lot of NFL today on Old School.
Oh, we'll break down the Husker game. That's going to take a while. People, man, there's a lot of excuses out there, man. I just don't. I see the game way different, and I've listened all day. Obviously, there's stuff to address, but those things they're fixable. Like I said, this game right here is easy. It's an easy game to win because you know exactly what you have to do. The problem is it's hard to do.
If you listen to all day, that means you listened to the last 2 hours.
I did.
What would you grade the conversations of me and Austin?
You really want the honest answer?
No, I do not. I'm good.
I mean, pretty good. It was informative. I liked your guys' opinion.
We'll take it. Good enough for us.
Yeah.
Good day's work. Nick,
we don't need to put a letter on it.
I didn't turn it off.
You put a letter on it.
I didn't turn it off.
Didn't turn it off.
Perfect. That's the J4.
So there you go. You got it. Yep.
Nick, thanks for filling in for Strick. He'll be on remote starting tomorrow. Big thanks to the text line for your contributions all show long, YouTube stream as well. For Nick, Austin, DP, and J come your way next with Old School.
A commitment to volunteer service is one of the many things that makes Nebraska so special. Volunteers give their time, energy, and resources, and they ask for nothing in return. The Step Forward Awards ensures they're recognized for all they do. Those honored this year for the impact they've made in their communities are